Hey guys, I'm Dr. Wade Hampton, and today's motivational thought for the day is going to start with a little disclaimer. Okay, so the disclaimer is this. When lawyers start to write things, it goes on and on and on. You've never seen such lengthy sentences. Da-da-da-da-da, comma, da-da-da-da-da, comma, da-da-da-da-da, comma. I'm telling you. It's like this, but and it could be this, but it might not be this, and well, it's this, but it's da-da-da-da-da. In other words, when explaining things of the human condition, it's complicated. And the same is true with the Bible, by the way. Some people take one scripture and they run with it, kind of strangely, running, strange. But the thing is, we're supposed to take the whole thing and balance it, rightly divide it. So it's like, sometimes I'm supposed to stand up and be bold, and sometimes I'm supposed to sit down and be quiet. Okay, I'm supposed to talk now. Anyway, so that's the disclaimer. Here's the motivational thought for the day. The heck with motivation. By the way, the original one had like the F word, but I cleaned it up. The heck with motivation. It's fickle and unreliable and isn't worth your time. Force yourself to do things. Force yourself to get out of bed and practice. Force yourself to work. Motivation is fleeting and easy to rely on because it requires no concentrated effort to acquire. Motivation comes to you. You don't even have to chase after it. Habits are reliable. Motivation is fleeting. Interesting. Now, I don't think any of us would want to say that motivation is not important. Of course it is. Of course it is. Of course it is. That's why I did that disclaimer in the beginning. I don't want to say that motivation is not important, but this has a really strong point to be made and can apply to your life. I'm going to make a statement, okay? And I really, really believe that this is 100% true. All right? Ready? You will never rise above your habits. You will never rise above your habits. This applies, and okay, twice you did, fine. But the point is, you will hardly ever rise above your habits. This applies to football players, basketball players, law enforcement officers, and it applies to life. All right. As a law enforcement officer, I can tell you that it's like hours of boredom followed by seconds of sheer terror. Hours of boredom followed by seconds of sheer terror. Now, my father said the same thing about flying. He said flying is hours of boredom followed by seconds of sheer terror. Flying is easy. It's the landing that you want to be really kind of gentle with. Most of the calls, as a law enforcement officer, most of the calls we had, or I had, I don't want to talk for my other fellow former law enforcement officers, but most of the calls I had, the ones that sounded really big turned out to be not much. Almost all. Not all, but almost all. And the ones that turned out to be very exciting usually were very innocuous or very sounded like they were nothing, okay? One of them, at one time, it was so nothing that I didn't even turn on my lights because it was just nothing. The next thing I know, I'm in hand-to-hand combat, and I've got the guy pinned on the hood of the car, and I called for backup, and my backup went zooming by me because he was looking for my lights that weren't on. I'm back here by the pool. Okay. And so, as a law enforcement officer, I learned to have good habits, good protocol, always doing it right, or at least almost always, or to the best of my ability, doing it right, creating good habits. I'm going to finish on a very sad story. In the Law Enforcement Academy, we received a lot of training. And one of the moments of training was from a dash cam of I think a sheriff's deputy in somewhere in Lord knows where, South Carolina, I don't know where. And it was when they had, his gun had the wheel gun, the revolver. And when they practiced at the range, they wanted to keep a clean shooting range, so they would shoot, and they would dump their shells, and they would bend over and pick them up. And that was the habit that they created. And so watching the dash cam, the guy, see if I can do this without tearing up. He was in a firefight. He shot all 6 of his rounds in his revolver. He dumped them out, and he bent over to pick them up. Within a matter of seconds, he was shot and killed dead because he bent over and picked them up. Because of that habit that he had created. So when we went to the range, we learned from that, boom, 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 drop, boom, 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 and walk away from that magazine that's on the ground. Everything we did was to create good habits. Because if you're in a football game, it's all going to happen pretty fast. And that's one thing I noticed from, starting to play football with pads at age 10. As I got older, it got faster. And my last game was on the high school field in Lafayette here as a senior in high school. But I know college got faster and pros got faster. It all happens pretty fast, so you better be darn good at what you do, because it's going to happen like that. Basketball and life. Because when life goes boo, the only thing you're going to have is your habits, what you did to build that up, or your good practices. All right? Fair enough? Good. If you like this, hit like and share it with your friends, because there's somebody out there that really needs to hear this. Okay? And if you're going through a hard time, private message me and let's see what we can do to help you. All right? Relationships, life, whatever. Okay? I'm Dr. Wade Hampton with Hampton Mediation. Have a great day.